Hey guys, welcome to CyberPlatter. This is a full course on Microsoft Sentinel. In this chapter, we will discuss analytics rules that are required for threat detection. If you have missed any previous chapters, you can find the links and the full playlist in the description box below. So what are analytics rules? Analytics rules in Microsoft Sentinel are automated detection mechanisms that continuously analyze security data to identify potential threats. These rules help security teams to detect, investigate, and respond to suspicious activities in an organization's environment. As a recap, Microsoft Sentinel ingests data from various sources such as firewalls, endpoint protection tools, cloud services, and identity platforms. Analytics rules scan this data for threat indicators, anomalies, or suspicious behavior patterns. When an analytics rule detects a security issue, it triggers an alert. This alert contains details about the detected event such as affected users, devices, IP addresses, and timestamps. Then alerts are grouped into incidents which act as case files for investigation. This helps analysts see the bigger picture and determine if multiple alerts are related to a coordinated attack. And then playbooks, that are automated workflows, can be triggered to contain threats, notify teams, or gather more data. Security analysts can also manually investigate incidents and take necessary actions to mitigate risks. There are different types of analytics rules. Let's look at the main ones first. Schedule rules. These run at predefined intervals, scanning collected logs for specific patterns. These are useful for detecting known attack techniques such as repeated failed login attempts or unauthorized access. Next one, near real-time NRT rules. These execute queries at high frequency for rapid threat detection. These are getting executed every 1 minute. These are ideal for time-sensitive threats like brute force attacks or unusual administrative activity. Then there are anomaly rules. These use machine learning to detect unusual behaviors that may indicate threats. For example, a user accessing a system from an unexpected location or logging in at odd hours. Then we have Microsoft Security Rules. These rules integrate with Microsoft Security products, for example, Microsoft Defender or Entra ID, to generate alerts in Sentinel. This allows seamless correlation of security signals from across the Microsoft security ecosystem. Then there are 3 more specialized analytics rules. The first 4 that we discussed are the primary rule types. Then Sentinel offers specialized rule templates with limited customization options. You can't customize them so much, but they are there. First specialized rule is threat intelligence rules. These compare ingested security logs against known threat indicators like malicious IP addresses or domains. These are useful for identifying compromised accounts, phishing attempts, or command and control, that is C2 activity. Next one is fusion rules, advanced multistage attack detection. These correlate multiple low confidence signals to detect complex multi-step cyber attacks. This helps reduce false positives and identify advanced persistent threats, that is APTs. Next, machine learning behavior analytics. These leverage AI-driven behavioral analytics to spot evolving threats. These are useful for detecting insider threats, account takeovers, or privilege abuse. Now let's see demos for these types of analytics rules, how to create them, how you can utilize them. Let's go to our Azure portal. Let's search for Sentinel. Click on Microsoft Sentinel and then the workspace, Sentinel workspace. Here go to configuration and then analytics. This gives you the overview of the rules that are available. There is one active rule, as you can see here. The active rule section in Analytics tab refers to the currently enabled analytic rules that are actively running and generating security alerts based on some defined conditions. This rule says the severity is high. Name of the rule is Advanced Multistage Attack Detection. Rule type is Fusion. It is enabled. And the tactics that it is using, if I click on it, you can find more details about this, what this rule does. This rule covers the following detections: fusion for emerging threats, ransomware, scenario-based fusion detections. To enable these detections, we recommend you to configure the following data connectors for best results: Azure Defender, Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, Cloud App Security, Defender for Identity. So even if you don't manually create them, right, there will be some active rules, because in the content management under Content Hub, we enabled some of the solutions which have these analytics rules in them. And the next tab is Rule Templates. These templates are pre-built detection rules that use KQL to analyze logs and identify suspicious activities across your systems. If I click on one of the alert rule templates, it is giving you the description, severity, data sources, Microsoft 365 Threat Intelligence Platforms, Threat Intelligence Taxi, data sources, Microsoft 365 Threat Intelligence Platforms, Taxi, Defender, TI, and then MITRE ATT&CK, which one it is using. It is phishing. Then you have the rule query. And then rule frequency, when it is run, this one is run every 1 hour. Rule period, last 14 days. So it is running on the data that is in the last 14 days every 1 hour. Rule threshold, event grouping. We will talk about all these in a minute. So let me close this. So let's try to create a scheduled rule right now. You can create an analytics rule from a template, that is, use the query logic and the scheduling lookback settings that is already provided in the template, and you can customize it a little bit, or you can create an analytics rule from scratch. You can build your own query and rule from scratch. Scheduled rules are the most common type of analytics rules in Microsoft Sentinel. They are based on KQL that run at regular intervals. These queries analyze raw data from a defined loopback period. They can perform complex statistical operations to identify baselines and outliers. Let's create a scheduled rule. So go to Configuration, Analytics, and that create scheduled query rule. Name, so we are creating a rule to identify any new users are added. So we'll say new user creation. This is a unique identifier for the rule and it is plain text only. And then provide the description. I'm gonna say the same. Severity, this defines the potential impact if the rule triggers a true positive. There are 4 options. Informational is no impact, but you could indicate future threat activity. Low is minimal immediate impact, more steps needed for a real threat. Medium, some impact but limited in scope or requires additional actions. High is significant impact, allowing threat actors broad access. I will go with medium. And then is MITRE ATT&CK. This is to select relevant tactics and techniques to categorize the threat activity. So I will select initial access and privilege escalation. And the status, you can keep it disabled or enabled. Enabled, rule runs immediately or at a scheduled time. Disabled, rule is created but inactive until manually enabled. Once this is done, let's go set rule logic. Then there is rule query. Here you can paste the KQL query you created and tested. So I will paste mine. Any errors in the query will be validated instantly. Suppose say I'm going to remove this, type it wrong, spelling mistake. It says fail to resolve this expression named RES. So it immediately tells you that something is wrong. So let me retype it. which is a very useful feature, I feel. So audit logs, this is the table. So this KQL query retrieves and filters Azure AD, that is Entra ID audit logs, to find events where a user was added. So it fetches data from the audit log table. Here, let me zoom this a little bit. So here it fetches data from the audit logs table in Microsoft Sentinel or Log Analytics. So this table contains Azure AD audit logs which track administrative actions. It filters the logs to only include events where the active display name is equal to add user. This ensures that we only see user creation events. Then it gets the username, that is email, of the newly added user from the target resources array. There is a different video on just KQL. If you want to learn more, or if you don't know KQL, I recommend referring that. I will link that in the description box. And this 0, target resources 0, refers to the first object in the array. And this toString ensures the value is treated as a string. And then extend created by, this extracts the username email of the person who performed the action. So this one is who got added, created by is the person who performed the action. Initiated by user principal name holds the initiator's UPN email address, and toString ensures it is treated as a string. Then we are selecting specific columns to display, like the time generated, timestamp of when the data was added, activity display name, name of the event, that is add user, user principal name, the newly added user's UPN, created by the admin or user who performed the action, and the result indicates if the action was successful or failed. There is also view query results. Click this. You can actually execute your query and see if it is fetching results. Run. It does fetch results, add user, and the event is here. So let's go back. Then there is alert enhancement tab. The first one is entity mapping. This helps you define up to 10 entity types recognized by Sentinel. This helps integrate identified entities into the entities field in alert schema. Entity mapping enables correlation across other security logs, enhances visibility in Sentinel investigations, and it also improves automated responses using playbooks. So let's click add new entity, select the entity. I will select account, and then we need to add identifier. Full name is user principal name. And then if I want, I can add more identifiers. This is enough for me. After entity mapping, there is custom details. When creating or modifying scheduled query analytics rules, right, in Sentinel, you can enhance alerts by adding custom details. This allows security analysts to quickly view critical event information without needing additional investigation. So it helps with faster triage and investigation. So normally alerts only contain high-level metadata. With custom details, you can extract and display specific events, like for example usernames, IP addresses, device names, directly in the alert properties. So if I click add new, I can select the value as user principal name and say created user. It has a key value pair. And then there is alert details. So all alerts and incidents inherit the name, description, severity, and MITRE attack tactics set in the rule. However, this does not account for dynamic details of each specific alert instance. So you can do that using alert details. You can override default alert properties. So you can do that using two ways. One is custom variable alert names and descriptions, and the other one is dynamic severity tactics and other properties. So instead of saying new user created in Entra ID as the alert name, you can say new user created and the user principal name, who was the user that created and who created it. You can create your custom alert names like this. You can create custom alert name format as well as alert description format too. This is only an example. I'll remove this. And you can also use KQL fields to set priority dynamically, like for example extend severity is equal to case. User principal name contains admin, then it will be a high severity alert. User principal name contains test, then it is a low priority or medium priority alert. So let me delete this as well. This was an example. So I will say alert name format, new user created, user principal name, and the alert description format, a new user so and so was created in Entra ID at whatever time. Next is query scheduling. This run query every 5 hours. You can customize this. I'm going to leave it as is. Look up data from the last 5 hours. I'm going to leave this as well as is. You can set to start it automatically right now or at a specific time. It can start running from then. Then alert threshold, generate alert when number of query results is greater than 0. Even if there is one alert, one event, it will generate an alert if you set it to 0. Then there is event grouping. It says configure how rule query results are grouped into alerts. So usually they select group all events into a single alert, or you can also say trigger an alert for each event. So if you select group all events into a single alert, that means all results from the query execution will be grouped into one single alert. This is best for batch processing where you want a single alert per run. And in the second option, each result generates a separate alert and separate incident. It is best if each event requires individual investigation. So it also gives you a warning saying a single analytics rule can generate up to 150 alerts. If you choose trigger an alert for each event and the rule query returns more than 150 events, the rule will generate 150 alerts. And the last alert will include a summary of all the events. I will go with group all events into a single alert. Next one is suppression. You can turn this on or off. If you want to turn it on, the rule will stop running for a defined period after an alert is generated. Once the suppression period expires, the rule will resume execution at the scheduled interval. This is useful for reducing noise from repeated detections of the same activity. I will have to set this to 5 hours or greater than 5 hours, not less than 5. So if I set this to 4, it says suppression must be equal to or greater than the frequency. So I will not turn this on for now. I'll switch it off. And then there is result simulation feature. This allows you to test and validate your analytics rule before fully deploying it. It helps ensure that your KQL query works as expected and generates meaningful results. Let me go to the incident settings now. So it is asking Microsoft Sentinel alerts can be grouped together into an incident. So I'm going to enable this saying create incidents from alerts triggered by this analytic rules. And then there is alert grouping. So if you want multiple related alerts to be grouped into a single incident, enable this group related alerts. So you see this, it limit the group to alerts created within the selected time frame. You can select that as well. And then there is group alerts triggered by this analytics rule into a single incident. There are 3 options. By grouping alerts into a single incident, if all entities match, this is the recommended one. And grouping all alerts triggered by this rule into a single incident, or grouping alerts into a single incident if the selected entity types and details match. You can select the entities and then group them also. There is also an option to reopen closed matching incidents, okay? Next we'll go to automated response. So if I click add, so this will help you create an automation rule. We will cover this in the later chapters. So for now I will not create this. The next step is to review and create the alert. So this is how you create a schedule query rule. Now let's create another rule, which is near real-time query rule. Select create and NRT query rule. We will use the same example, new user creation, but this is for near real time. I will paste the same description. Keep the severity medium. MITRE technique, I'm gonna say initial access. Status enabled. Then go to set rule logic. We will use the same query, that is audit logs, where operation name is equal to add user, and then we'll keep everything as is. Then go to incident settings. This also we will leave it as is, and then go to automated response. We will not do this, and then review and create. It is validating, and then say validation passed, and then save it. It says analytics rule saved, and then you can see that the alert is created. This is how you create NRT rule. So we saw scheduled rules, near real-time rules. Now we'll see anomaly rules. Let's go back to the portal. So in the Azure portal analytics, if I go to anomalies, you can see what are the rules that are enabled. All of these are an enabled status. So if I right click on one of these alerts, I can edit them, duplicate them, or disable them. So I can say edit, and I can edit them, either disable them or enable them. You can use, if you want to search for these in KQL, that is logs, you can search for anomalies. So if I go back to logs, so here under general, if I go to analytics, close this, let me delete this, search for anomalies. This is the table. And the next rule is Microsoft Security rules. Let's go back to the portal, click create, Microsoft incident creation rule, rule name, I'll say defender, same description, status enabled, analytics rule logic. You just need to select the Microsoft Security service, that is Microsoft's Defender for Cloud Apps. Let's actually make this Defender for Cloud Apps, and then scroll down, filter by severity, any. So all the alerts from cloud apps will be forwarded to Sentinel. Include any specific alerts or exclude any specific alerts, you can do both. And then automated response, I don't want to create this here now. Then review and create, save. So if I go to this, the rule is created. Let me go back to anomalies once. So if I want to search for this rule ID, right, all I have to do is copy this rule ID, go to general, go to logs, cancel this, look for anomalies, that is the table where rule ID contains this, and then you can run your query to see if there are any results. I don't have any, but if there is anything, you will get the results here as well. And then there are 3 more specialized analytics rules: threat intelligence rules, fusion rules, and ML rules. This you cannot customize a lot. Usually you will get the option to enable or disable them. You can do it from the rule template tab. So if I go to the portal and go back to configuration analytics, in rule templates you can filter them using rule type, say fusion, ML and threat intelligence, apply, and then you can click on them and create the rule. So as you see, This is a ML behavior analytics rule. You don't have a lot of options to edit them other than, you can enable or disable them. Set up automated response. So if I go to automated response, you can set this up and create them. Let me go back. And it's the same with threat intelligence rule as well. You can enable or disable them and select what MITRE attack strategy you want to map this to. Let me go back. Fusion rule is already in use here. That is, it is an active rule which you can find it here. So not a lot of customization in the last three, that is the specialized analytics rules that you can do. So that is all about analytics rules, guys. We talked about what is analytics rules, different types of analytics rules and how to create them. I hope this video was helpful. I will see you in the next chapters on Sentinel. Until then, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.